Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Rain Gang, whenever you might be listening to this. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of the Purple Rain podcast. So, like I said again, welcome back to another episode of the Purple Rain podcast. I am your host, Sutton Def. Of course, normally we would have my guy Simply AS10. Of course, he's missing today. He's doing some vacation. He's doing some stuff that he needs to take care of. So let's give a shout out to Simply AS10. He's out there doing his thing, man. We've all got to enjoy ourselves at some point in time, man. So whether it be this weekend, whether it be next weekend, whether it be tomorrow, go find somebody you love and tell them that you want to spend some time with them. That's what our guy Alex is doing. So all shout outs to him, all props to him. We love him. We wish him the best on his vacation. Now, listen, we do have a couple things to get into today, guys, but I want to bring you guys up on the screen first as we normally do. We got Jessica Bass in the house. What's going on, Jessica? Appreciate you for coming through. Bossy Raven in the house says, what's up, Rain Gang? What's going on, brother? Appreciate you for pulling up. J Prime 235 in the house. Dre is here too. We got Tanja Bowman. We got the April 123. JD Kill Switch is in the house. Tanja says, what's up, Simply? Yeah, shout out to Simply. Yeah, love you too, bro. Love you too, bro. Enjoy that time. Seth says, what's up, Rain Gang? T Shizzle says, I finally caught a live show. And Daryl Turner in the house says, what's up, Rain Gang? Happy to catch the thing live. Alex, have fun, my guy. Yes, sir. Rico, what's good, Rain Gang? All day Esco in the building. Quoney says, Sudden Fresh with the Armani on. I have to do a little something. You feel me? What's going on, Coney? Appreciate all of you guys for coming through. Make sure you guys like the video. Please like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We would greatly appreciate that. As you guys know, football season is here. Today is Thursday, August the 10th. Football season is here. There's games tonight. And when I say, I mean games, like plural. There's two of them, right? Two of them. I know we have the Texans and Patriots. I'm drawing a blank on the other one. Somebody throw in the chat what that other game is. Somebody throw that in the chat really quick. Yolanda in the house says, good evening, Rain Gang. Good evening, Yolanda. Appreciate you for coming through. Yeah. So a couple things to get into, as you guys can see in the title. Jadeveon Clowney signing. Bateman is back. I mean, in the preseason opener against the Eagles at the bank is this weekend at 7 p.m. So lots to look forward to, but let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of what we have today. So first of all, guys, Jadeveon Clowney has been made an offer by the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I just made a YouTube short about this not too long ago. I think it was a Tuesday, I want to say. And I came out saying that, like, I'm not a fan. I'm not a big fan of getting Jadeveon Clowney on the Ravens. I think that there are some ways that he can fill some needs for us. But for me, I'm looking for a pass rusher, right? I'm looking for a guy who can get quarterbacks on the ground, because we've really been lacking that in the past couple of years. Now, I do understand last year we were top 5 in sacks. I think a lot of that has to do with the refresh of the defense that comes with Michael McDonald, our new defensive coordinator who debuted for us last season. But I want that not star-studded guy, but I just want a reliable guy, somebody along the lines of a Justin Houston. If you can give me 7 to 10 sacks in a season, like if you're a veteran, I'll take that. That's why I was campaigning for like a Robert Quinn. Didn't have a whole lot of sacks last year. As a matter of fact, he only had 1. But year before that, he had 18 and a half sacks. I think we could do something with that. A guy like Jadeveon Clowney has proven time and time again, he's not a big sack guy, right? He's always been more of a run stopper than a pass rusher. So that's something that we have to keep in mind when we're going ahead and just throwing a bunch of money at guys like Jadeveon Clowney. I do want to get you guys' take on this. Now, again, I don't have my guy Alex today, so this is really going to be a give and take between me and the Rain Gang. All of you guys in the live chat, please put your questions, whatever your thoughts are about these current situations, these current topics, please throw them in the chat. We would love to bring them up on screen and address those as well. Let's see. JD Killswitch in the house says, Clowney might as well just take it. Nobody else is looking at him. Yeah, and Clowney has a history of kind of waiting around in the offseason until, training camp starts up, preseason gets ready to start up, and some team always needs an edge rusher. I mean, this league is about, edge rusher is a premium position. This league is about edge rusher and quarterback play. A lot of people might argue. So, uh, yeah, he likes to wait around, and it looks like the Ravens are going to be that team that takes the bait this year. Maybe. I hope not. I think that there's better options out there, and I talked with my guy Simply about this on the last episode, but I think that there's better options out there. I just do. I just do. Let's see. Tanja in the house says, I am not a fan of Clowney either. His work ethic is questionable to me. Like, he just moves around for a paycheck. And yeah, I mean, that kind of coincides with the what I was just saying. Like, the guy, he waits around like all off season, probably does what he wants, eats what he wants, hangs out, whatever. And then he knows that later in the off season, some team is going to need somebody from his position group. I mean, his position group is valuable in the NFL. So he just kind of fits his way in. And a lot, you can kind of say like he's still living kind of off of that play at South Carolina, where he just blows up the running back, takes off his helmet, he fumbles and everything like that. Glorious play. But it's one of those plays where it was just so electrifying and just kind of such like a spectacle at the time to watch, and like, oh my god, this kid's a freak of nature. That play kind of followed him for the rest of his career, really. And I can't really point to any other Jadeveon Clowney moments that I would say are bigger than that. Now again, there are some ways that he can help the Ravens out. I mean, I think that we can use him as a nice rotational piece. I don't think that he has to be an every down guy, but he can definitely be an anchor on certain games and things like that as we're trying to rest guys maybe later in the season. So from that aspect, I do kind of like the move. But at the same time, like I said, I'm of the school of thought. I'm trying to get the opposing quarterback on the ground. That's what I want to do. I'm sorry. That's just what I want to do. And Clowney hasn't really proven to be that kind of edge rusher. Let's see. Simply as 10 says, just hope it's not an overpay. Right. You think the offer is less than Houston. So yeah, Houston got what, 6 million guaranteed with a 7 million total. So it would have to be less than that. Or else it's just like, why did we let Justin Houston walk? Right? Like, it would make literally no sense. Like, literally no sense. So yeah, I agree with you there, Alex. I mean, if it's not an overpay, then I'm cool. But if it is, then EDC, we're gonna need to talk. All right. See what else you guys are saying about our guy Jadeveon Clowney, and who else would you guys like to see the Ravens bring in at edge rusher? And that's for all you guys watching live. And if you're not watching live right now, you're part of the hashtag replay gang. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode 187 of the Purple Rain podcast. Make sure you leave your comments, questions down below in the comment section, because me and Simply as 10, we do get to those post episode. Okay. Manuel's COD channel in the house says, Sup gang, check out for each other. Absolutely. Always check on your loved ones. I mean, even the ones who you think are doing really, really well, check on them too. Check on them too. Check on everyone. Let me see. Flo Knows says, Houston would not have come back to Baltimore unless we paid more than market. Being that we paid him so little, he wanted payback. Yeah, I mean, and he kind of played himself out of that contract. So it's you kind of respect it. I'm not mad at it. I mean, the guy came in and had 8.5 sacks last season. I mean, he had moments last season where he kind of, I don't want to say took over games, but he made pivotal plays that really swung the tide of games. So, I mean, you can go back and watch. You don't have to listen to me about it. You don't have to believe me. Justin Houston was that dude. I get that. But that's kind of what happens, especially with veterans. And then he kind of fell off in the second half of the season. So, I mean, I can understand why he wants his paycheck. He did put up some numbers last year. So it's fair. It's fair. And it's a business. It's a business. Mayo's COD channel also chiming in says, I want OBJ to get 10 tubs and Lamar to win Super Bowl MVP. Man, would that be nice? Man, would that be glorious? Odell Beckham Jr. with anything over 5 touchdowns this season, I think would be amazing. I think it would be amazing. Mainstream media really thinks that Odell Beckham Jr. is the undisputed wide receiver 1 for the Ravens when he's really not, and I guess this can kind of lead us into the next topic. Rashad Bateman is back. Bateman, I feel like, is the guy who is being just so tragically slept on. So tragically slept on. And I guess you could say rightfully so because he's been hurt. But listen, every time that he is on the field, that Ravens offense is night and day. I mean, it is. Go back and watch. I mean, go back and watch the games where we have Rashad Bateman versus where we don't. I mean, the offense, the passing game just seems like it's on life support. It's either Mark Andrews or death, and it's not like that when Rashad Bateman is on the field. So for me, I'm of the school of thought of Bateman is going to be our wide receiver one as the season progresses. If he does stay healthy, fingers crossed again. I think that Rashad Bateman can emerge as the clear Ravens wide receiver one on this team. It's just because he's really the complete package. I honestly think he's like a younger Odell Beckham Jr. I really do. Like when you look at their games, they're kind of similar. I mean, Odell can probably make more spectacular catches, yes. But in terms of like going up and making contested catches, Rashad Bateman has that in his game. In terms of working the intermediate part of the field, Rashad Bateman has that in his game. In terms of making the first and the second guy miss, Rashad Bateman has that in his game. He has it all. He has it all. The speed, he's got that in his game too. See the Miami game from last year, right? So, um, I want OBJ to perform really well too, but I do think that there are going to be a lot of mouths to feed. I haven't even brought up Zay Flowers, but Rashad Bateman is one of those guys who, yeah, expect him to get the football and expect him to do really great things with the football that'll warrant him being wide receiver one on the team. Might be my hot take. Might be my hot take. By the end of the season, Rashad Bateman will be wide receiver one on the team if he stays healthy. If he stays healthy, I'm gonna throw that disclaimer in there. Let me see. Bateman will have a big season. Yeah, hopefully. I really do. I really do. Tanja says Bateman will be the number one receiver. He was that dude for Lamar in the Jets and Dolphins game. Yeah, hopefully we can see some early flashes from Rashad Bateman to really remind everyone who this guy is, and that Odell Beckham Jr. is not the main thing that you need to be worried about on this offense. Honestly, I would like it for Odell Beckham Jr. to be the last thing that teams end up worrying about on the Ravens. That way we can kind of sneak him in, in red zone situations, things like that, and just kind of hit him over the head. Oh, we've been killing you with Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews and Rashad Bateman all the way down the field and J.K. Dobbins. Now here's a sneaky one to Odell Beckham Jr. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Let me see. Manuel's COD channel says Sutton, who's your sleeper on defense? Sleeper on defense. I'm going to go Kyle Hamilton. I'm gonna go Kyle Hamilton. I'll tell you why. Kyle Hamilton's one of the guys who has been impressing throughout the entire training camp this season. And I think a lot of people are really forgetting how high of a prospect this kid was. Think about it. We picked this guy with the number 14 pick. The 14th pick. I can't even the last time we picked as low as 14, I can't remember. I think we were either getting probably Stanley or Humphrey, somebody like that. The last time we picked that low, I can't quite remember. But throw it in the chat if you do remember. But we picked him damn high in the draft, man. And I think that people are kind of sleeping on him too. It's kind of like that sophomore what do you call it, sophomore fatigue almost. Like, when a football season is about to get started up, everybody's looking at their team's rookies like, oh my gosh, like I'm so excited to see what this guy can offer, what he's going to bring to our team, yada yada yada. But nobody really talks about the second year guys. The second year guys are really the ones that I think that you should watch out for because they have that experience. They have that 1 year of NFL professional football experience under their belt. And now they can really take what they learned in college and be the athlete they were in college and merge it with the knowledge of the NFL. And I think that's what Kyle Hamilton is going to do and take that next step this season. And he's even said it himself. I mean, he's a totally different guy right now from who he was last year this time. So if I had to pick my sleeper on defense for the Ravens this year, I'm going to go Kyle Hamilton. Runner up, honorable mention will be Patrick Queen. I think Patrick Queen is going to have to make a step up in making a lot of tackles. He's going to have to make a lot of tackles wrapping up, especially in division. The running backs and the blocking schemes from the Bengals, from the Browns, and from the Steelers is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a hat on a hat across the offense and defensive line, and it's going to be on guys like Roquan Smith, who I fully believe in trust in. Roquan Smith is that dude. He's one of the top 3, maybe top 2 linebackers in this league. And then you have Patrick Queen, who is still in his developmental stages, but he's really coming along, in terms of athleticism, in terms of knowing where he needs to be on the field. The only thing that I think that, he needs to take that extra step forward on this year is just tackling, finishing tackles. So I think that's going to be really important this year, especially in division. But number 1, Kyle Hamilton. Number 2, Patrick Queen, from underrated people on defense. Let me see. Dre here says, I'm starting to be very concerned about the corners. Very good point here. Very good point. I think Harbaugh came out today and said something about the cornerback room and how it's definitely an issue, something that they're probably, quote unquote, probably, right, going to have to address. It's not a probably, it's a definite thing. It's a definite thing. I mean, we've seen, 2/3 into the season, past couple years, where our cornerback room is decimated, and we're down to guys like Daryl Worley and Kevon Seymour and all the like. And it is a little bit tiring, but I think that the thing that we have to kind of focus on is we got what we asked for, right? As Ravens fans, a lot of us were clamoring to kind of put more money into the offense over the defense, in order to kind of balance things out. And now we're at a point where we don't have a whole lot of holes on this offense, but with the way that salary cap is set up, and then kind of like the pay scales of what positions you pay more, or what positions you pay less. I just don't know if, man, I just don't know if we're in a position to go out and get any extra corners right now. I just don't think we are. I don't think we are. We're not in that position right now. And that's okay, because we have to make it work with what we have. And I think that a big part of that is the pass rush. The pass rush has to be able to help out the secondary. Your secondary only has to be but so good if the quarterback is given hell in the backfield, you know? And that's why I'm saying, like, Jadeveon Clowney is not my guy. I want a guy who can get the quarterback on the ground, because our DB room is already weak. My biggest fear this year is that, late in games, third and fourth quarter, you got a good quarterback picking us apart because he knows which corners to pick on. That's just what I fear. I've seen Baker Mayfield pick on certain cornerbacks on our team. Baker Mayfield, who's in a dogfight with Kyle Trask right now for the starting position in Tampa Bay. And yeah, everybody wanted offense to get more attention, so here we are. We got what we asked for. Somebody else has got to step up. The Don in the house says, "What's up, PRP? Glad I made the live stream. What's going on, Don C? We appreciate you for coming through." Yolanda says, "We had no business letting Marcus Peters go." I mean, the Peters thing, the name Marcus Peters provides security for a lot of Ravens fans, and I understand that, because Marcus Peters has been a guy over the past couple of seasons who has given us some big moments in some big games, but in the last season, it really wasn't that great. Really wasn't that great, and we weren't seeing those big plays like we were in the past. So I think that that's the reason why the Ravens went ahead and moved off of him. And I think we're just kind of putting our trust in guys like, guys like Pepe Williams are gonna have to step up. Guys like Jalen Armour Davis are gonna have to step up. They got Jalen Armour Davis guarding OBJ in practice. They got big plans for him. Taquan in the house says, "What's up, Rain Gang and Sutton? What's going on, Taquan? Appreciate you for coming through." For those of you guys just getting in here, you guys are just seeing me. You're not seeing Simply AS10. Simply AS10 is out enjoying time with the fam, so shout out to him again. Make sure, again, you follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. Season is right around the corner. Actually, it's not. It's here. So make sure you follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def, like you see below down there. And then my co-host, Simply AS10, you can find him on Twitter at Simply AS10. On Instagram at Simply AS10.prod. And our sponsor, Manscaped. Manscaped.com. You can go on Manscaped.com and get all sorts of products like the Beard Hedger Pro, the Lawnmower 4.0, the Shed. They've got all sorts of clothes. They've got ball deodorant, ball toner, all sorts of things for down below. You can go on manscaped.com and save 20% off with our code PRP. We appreciate you guys. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into some questions here as you guys like the video. As Saquon says here, like the video, guys, and subscribe if you are new. Let's get into some questions from you guys, maybe about the preseason opener, what we expect. I'm going to go ahead and touch on that while you guys are getting some questions in here. The preseason opener is against the Eagles. It's going to be in Baltimore at the Bank at 7 p.m. on Saturday. So Saturday at 7 p.m., we get our first taste of Ravens football in months since January, right? And I'm super excited about that. It's been what, 8 months, 7, 8 months. So definitely looking forward to it. And in terms of who we're actually going to see on the football field at the Bank on Saturday night, not a whole lot of starters, not a whole lot of starters at all. The main guys, your Lamars, your Odells, your Batemans, those guys aren't playing. Gus Edward, those guys aren't playing. Offensive line guys, I doubt those guys will be playing either. He did say, John Harbaugh did say that Zay Flowers might get a little bit of run in the preseason, which I would like to see. Me personally, I feel like if you're a rookie, you should get out there in the preseason and kind of show what you got, because you're still trying to, as a rookie, you're falling in line on a team, and you kind of have to prove your place. Even though you get drafted by, this billion-dollar franchise and they're giving you millions of dollars to play, you still have to prove yourself, right? You still have to effectively make that team and really assume your position as the starter. So, yeah. Let's see what else we have from you guys. Bringing up some questions. Dre says, I want to see Keaton Mitchell on Saturday. Oh, yeah. I want to see tons of Keaton Mitchell. I want to see a lot of Keaton Mitchell. I want to see a lot of Charlie Collar. I wish Trenton Simpson was not hurt, because I would love to see him. And then I want to see left guard. I want to see John Simpson, and I want to see Lulu. I want to see who between those two guys kind of wins over the coaches at that position, because that left guard spot is probably the only hole on our offensive line. Not probably, it is the only hole currently on the offensive line. Everything else is shored up. Left tackle, Ronnie Stanley. Left guard is the issue. Center, Tyler Linderbaum. Right guard, Kevin Zeitler. And then right tackle, Morgan Moses. I mean, everything else looks good except that left guard. So I definitely want to see those two guys play. Manuel's COD channel says, I want to see Dante Demas Jr. ball out. Yeah, some of those receivers that are down there on the totem pole, like, yeah, Demas Jr. I'm a big fan of Mekhi Polk. I know he hasn't been really having the best training camp, but we'll see what he does in game. Shamar Bridges is still on the roster. We saw what he was able to do last year in preseason. So, yeah, there's going to be a couple guys that I'm looking forward to. Isaiah Likely is another one. I'm sure he'll get some time playing. He was really good last preseason too. Well, we'll see. JD Killswitch says, when Mitchell rushes for over 100 yards Saturday, it's gonna hit. Yeah, I hope he does have a big play. I told Alex on the last episode, I don't know if you guys remember, but I said all it's gonna take for Keaton Mitchell, UDFA, undrafted free agent, to make this team is one big play, and for him to not turn the ball over. As long as those two things happen, as long as he doesn't fumble or anything like that, and he makes one big run, if he breaks off one big run, I think that he'll make this team. And when I say a big run, I'm not talking like a 30, it doesn't have to be like a 40, 50 yard run. I'm saying like maybe like a 20 to 30 yard run, something like that. So yeah, we'll see what he does there. And then J.K. Dobbins, I think Dobbins is probably going to come back soon, guys. I think that he kind of knows that there is no leverage for not only running backs, but especially not JK at the moment. I mean, he really has not proven to be a top tier running back to the point where he's going to get a big bag anytime soon. So, I mean, it's in his best interest to ball out right now. I think right now he's just kind of rehabbing and just making sure he's 110%, which I don't, at this point, I don't mind. Okay. Let's see. Raven Ron says, I need Owe and Ojabo playing on Saturday. Pass rush is the key. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you just got in here, Raven Ron, but that's what I was saying earlier in the show. Pass rush is going to be crucial. It's going to be crucial this season. And I'm sure Mike McDonald realizes that, but with the kind of just the lack of a DB room that we have right now, we're going to need those edge rushers to step up, that pass rush to step up, and really put more pressure on the quarterback and make it harder for a quarterback to expose that DB room. You know, crank up the level of difficulty in the pocket. That's what's going to need to happen. Yeah. Let's see. Don says, I know I'm a homer, but have you heard great things about Jalen Armour Davis if he can play or allow all pro Marlowe the nickel? Jalen Armour Davis is one of those guys where last year he was really, really a project. This year he's still a project, you can tell, but from what I've heard coming out of training camp, he has been kind of holding his own, doing a lot better, and kind of coming into his own as a professional NFL player. I think a lot of us Jalen Armour Davis, he actually had some decent moments later on in the season. He didn't really get too much playing time, but yeah, I think he'll probably come along a little bit better this year. He's going to get a little bit more playing time, a little bit more of a role on this defense in this DB room. So we'll see how that goes there. I mean, like I said before, I mean they got him guarding OBJ in practice, so you know, yeah, he's still a project. Exactly. I got a lot of hope for Jalen Armour Davis. Just got to stay healthy. That too. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I said that I wasn't going to go too long. I wasn't going to go too long this episode of the show. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. Make sure you guys leave a comment or question down below in the chat or in the comment section. If I did not get to you guys, I appreciate it. Listen, you can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Sutton Def or on Instagram at Sutton Def as well. Again, you can go on our sponsor, manscaped.com, and get 20% off if you use our code PRP. And listen, guys, again, season's right around the corner. So there's going to be a lot more Ravens content coming your way. Make sure you guys stay locked into this channel. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We'd greatly appreciate it. And yeah, I love you guys. You know, I know a quick little stream tonight, but we'll see you guys in the next one. Until next time, stay positive, test negative, and never ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. This has been episode 187 of the Purple Rain Podcast. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.